President Obama says he still expects Russia to pull back.
I think everybody recognizes that although Russia has legitimate interests in what happens in a neighboring state, that does not give it the right to use force as a means of exerting influence inside of that state.
And this morning, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that political tension should not interfere with, in his words, our current economic cooperation. Elizabeth Palmer is in Sevastopol, Crimea, where a tense military situation is starting to ease just a little. Elizabeth, good morning.
That's right. Now that President Putin has backed off on his option to expand the invasion, the situation here in Crimea has sort of devolved into a waiting game. Perevalnoye is just one of the Ukrainian military bases still loyal to Kiev, surrounded by Russian soldiers who've set up camp. This may be a siege, but it's a relaxed one. The wives and families of Ukrainian soldiers arriving with food for their men. Not so much scared for them as outraged. Leonida says it's humiliating. Our soldiers being told to disarm. As a woman, I imagine it's like being asked to strip naked by strangers. So what next? The Russian soldiers around the base weren't talking. And you don't know how long you'll be here? The truth is they probably have no idea. Moscow will certainly resist giving up control of this vital territory, home to the Russian Black Sea Fleet. But what happens to the Ukrainian soldiers holding out from one end of the peninsula to the other? Apart from a few high-profile officers switching sides, the troops have held their ground on dozens of bases and even on military ships. Commander Alexei Nikiforov said, "Marines never surrender. Nobody at the base wants to swear an oath to a dubious government, but the troops have been crushed emotionally." Crews of 2 Navy ships fastened their mattresses to the rails to prevent the Russians boarding. And in a powerful symbol of loyalty, the Ukrainian Navy's biggest warship is still flying the national flag. Moscow could insist that all this be handed over to the Russian military to control in the future, but this matter, too, is now in the hands of the diplomats. In fact, the diplomatic process has already engaged here in southern Ukraine. 2 teams of international observers have arrived, 1 civilian, 1 unarmed military, to get a really first-hand look, eyes on at the situation down here. Charlie, Nora?
Thanks, Elizabeth.